Meeting of the Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeals. Would you please rise for the pledge to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the good news is that we have a relatively short agenda tonight, so we should all be able to get home before the snow starts to fall. And the snow, that's the bad news. Okay. Okay, for those that are new to the procedure of the zoning board, the meeting is divided into two sections. During the first section, we hold public hearings on each of the applications before us. For each of these, we'll ask the applicant to come forward and to be sworn in. All testimony before the ZBA has to be sworn testimony. We'll ask the applicant to give us a very brief description of what the application is and why you were before the ZBA for a variance or whatever. And each of the members of the board will have an opportunity to ask questions. Once the board is finished, the floor will be open to anyone from the public that wishes to address that application, but that application only. In each case, anyone from the public who wishes to address the board must also be sworn in. Once we've finished the applications, and by the way, the agenda is available in the little tray that's right next to our counsel's desk. So when the public hearings are finished, we'll then move into the deliberation phase. And during this part of the meeting, there's no further input from the public, but you're welcome to stay and listen to the deliberations and to our voting. Okay. And I guess there were three members that are not able to be here this evening. So our two alternates, Paul Lay and Phyllis Capone, will be voting members this evening. And I'd also like to publicly welcome Mike Welty, sitting there on the end. He's recently appointed Director of Municipal Development for the Town of Poughkeepsie, and will be working with the ZBA future. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, item number one is a public hearing that was adjourned from the last meeting. Gasland Petroleum, 740 Main Street. Okay, so just have a seat, and yeah, I think probably it's going to be easier if you move into the other chair with the microphone.
Yeah, my contractor is supposed to represent me. He's not here yet. I could answer some questions if you'd like, but
would you rather just wait? We've got two other applications. We can deal with those and then come back to you.
yeah, let's do that.
That's fine with me.
They could answer questions better than me.
Okay, thank you. All right. Item number two, Eileen and Eugene Fontanella, 22 Saddle Rock Drive. Okay, if you'd state your name, please.
Hi, I'm Eugene Fontanella of 22 Saddle Rock Drive.
Okay. Paul, would you do that?
Sure. Do you swear or affirm that testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Okay, so what brings you here this evening?
Just a deck. Just need a variance for a deck above our above-ground pool.
Okay, and if I understand the application correctly, it's going to be 6 feet from the side lot line, and the code calls for 10.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, Phyllis, any questions?
How did you decide where to put the deck?
just sunlight on that side of the pool. There's the house blocks it for most of the day, so it's just a matter of where the sun was going to be hitting it.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay. Okay, Christine?
No questions.
Okay, that was actually going to be my question, why you didn't want to put it on the other side of the pool.
Be shaded for most of the day. Not good for pool activities.
Okay. Paul?
No question.
Tony?
No questions?
Carmen?
No questions.
Okay. If there are no other questions from the board, is there anyone from the audience that wishes to address the application at 22 Saddle Rock Drive? All right, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 3, William Ferschler, 66 Crestwood Drive.
It's actually Boulevard.
Boulevard. Okay,
Boulevard.
whoops, that's exactly right, thank you. Okay, and if you'd state your name?
Christy Newman. I'm William's daughter.
Okay. When the swearing in?
You swear or affirm the testimony provided tonight's true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, and this has to do with a front deck.
Front deck on the front part of the house.
Okay, could you just describe what it is you're proposing to build?
Just to make it, right now, there's a very small deck that was put on probably 50 years ago, and just want to make it a little bit longer in the front of the house. That's pretty much the only difference.
The current deck, or the current, it's kind of a landing, a little porch.
Yeah, it's just a little,
Is that going to remain?
I believe it's just going to be, the contractor was going to cover it.
Okay, so how far forward is the deck going to go?
About 6 feet out from the home.
From the current
Right.
front? Okay, so
Yeah.
6 feet out, and how
I
wide?
believe 20 feet? 20 feet wide,
20 feet?
yeah,
And kind of centered on the
yes.
house? Okay, all right. Is this going to be a covered deck or an open deck
Covered? Covered.
with a
An awning, not an awning, but a
roof?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what, I assume a railing
yes.
around it? Okay, all right. Phyllis, any questions?
So you talked about it being 6 feet from the house, but the 7?
It was
7 feet. And the notation on our diagram says that is it gonna be 19 inches wide or, I'm sorry, not inches, 19 feet or 20 feet?
I believe, I don't remember exactly what he put.
I thought he said 20.
Okay. And is it gonna kind of match the house?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions, thank you.
Okay, Christine?
Are the steps going to come out toward the road, or are they going to be on the side,
Out towards the road.
out towards the road? Okay, no other questions.
Okay, Paul?
Do you have a diagram or a picture of what the porch is going to look like?
I believe the contractor did. I don't know if he had actually provided one.
I don't know, I didn't get.
He had shown us a drawing of it. I thought it was in with the other papers, but it's just the diagram of the feet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing
Right,
we...
is the
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay,
I guess that's it.
okay. Tony?
I have no questions.
Carmen?
Now, the existing deck will be taken down, correct? And
No, it's just going to, it's just a foundation. It's just a small, maybe 4x4 concrete. And it's just he's just going to cover that,
you're going to cover that?
yes.
And is that going to be a fabric awning?
No, it's not an awning, an actual, what's the word? Fixture,
Shingled roof.
yes, yes,
Oh,
shingled
okay.
roof.
All right. Okay, no further questions.
Okay. Anyone on the board have any other questions? All right. Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to address the application at 66 Crestwood Boulevard? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're back to item number 1. Okay. It was the sign contractor that you're,
Yeah, they did most of the application. But I could answer any questions you guys have to the best of my ability.
okay.
Did the county come back with a?
Yes, they did. So I have to read that into the record. But what I wanted to do first was to try to be very specific about which variances you need, because you submitted an original,
Yeah,
and then last month you gave us actually a reduced proposal.
so I'm gonna take a couple steps back. What it is, the station, the fueling station is a Sunoco, and every 10 years, the company requires us to update the image. And we're at that point. So, as you could tell, it's an older style, price sign, and the canopy is kind of worn out. So, what we need a variance for, the biggest variance is the price sign to change it to LED. And currently, we're the only gas station that has the manual, where you change manually within like a 25, 30 mile radius, and give or take. And as far as the canopies, is not a big concern. I'm willing to make the changes that you guys need, the
Okay,
town needs, I'm sorry.
But the canopy is simply going to be replaced.
Not replaced, just an updated decals.
Oh, okay.
But I believe in his last packet, he reduced the amount of signage on it.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yes. Okay,
And,
so let me see if I've got this correct, and our council will follow along and correct me if I've something. Okay, so I believe with the most recent proposal, you're going to need a variance to install a freestanding electronic message display, an EMD, electronic message display, which will be permitted in a district, the Arlington Town Center, where EMD signs are prohibited. Okay, so that's the first variance, just for the sign itself. Okay. The second variance is for a freestanding sign. Okay, that will be the sign there on the corner, of 28.52 square feet, where 12 square feet is allowed in the ATC district. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've reduced the height
Yes.
from, I don't know, what, down to?
We down to 12.
12,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, and a 12-foot sign is permitted, yeah, please come up. And, were you here at the last meeting? Okay, so you were both sworn in at the last meeting, so I just remind you that you're still under oath.
It's my first time.
You were not?
My first
Okay.
meeting, yes.
So your name is?
My name is Zidan Nashwat. I'm from Gasland Petroleum.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony provided tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, and your name for the record?
Matt Kasevich.
Okay, all right, and you've been
Yes,
sworn in?
yes.
Okay, great, all right. So what I'm doing is taking your new proposal and trying to figure out exactly what the variances are. So you'll need a variance for the electronic price display, just to have it because it's prohibited in that district. The overall size of the sign, 28.52 square feet, where 12 square feet is allowed. Okay. My understanding is that you're allowed 2 canopy wall signs in this district, but you'll need a variance for each of the canopy wall signs because they're 18.09 square feet, where 15 square feet is allowed. Okay, and those are the 2 Sunoco
Channel letter
signs that
sets.
go on the edge of the canopy.
Yep.
Okay? And then a fourth variance would be to allow additional signage to be attached to the light poles and to the poles around the pumps. Okay.
The only one you didn't address, and I haven't gone through the materials, is the 30% LED. Is that met now?
That is met.
Okay.
I measured, they provided a scale drawing, and I measured it, and the LED, I have the calculations here, is roughly, I believe it's 11%, and they're allowed 30. So, yes.
What is the additional signage on the poles?
Okay, right now, if you go out there, there are 2 light poles. They're on the southern edge. They're just, and on each of them, there are some signs for credit cards, which I think is totally unnecessary, but.
So about this?
And I'm not even sure that that's in the new proposal.
I don't believe so.
Not?
No.
Okay.
All miscellaneous signage will be removed.
Okay.
There will be no POP frames, no advertising.
Frames on the site.
Okay.
That's
And right now, on the big price freestanding sign, there's a bunch of stuff that's hanging off the
all
edge.
gone.
That's gone?
That will be removed. It has to be all cleaned up for Sunoco standards.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Cobb, are we okay on these?
I think so. If I find something in the short term, I'll let you know.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, now, having kind of gone through that, as you know, we have to submit this to the county for their review. The main reason in this case is that Main Street in that part of the town of Poughkeepsie is a county road. So they have to review it. And they've written back, and I need to read this into the record. It's a little lengthy, so just bear with me. The Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the subject referral within the framework of General Municipal Law, Article 12B. Action. The applicant is seeking an area variance to permit an electronic message display, EMD, sign in the Arlington Town Center District where EMD signs are specifically prohibited. In addition, the applicant is asking for variances related to freestanding area sign, or freestanding sign area, and a variance to allow signage affixed to light poles within the site. I think you just said that those signs are going to be removed. Okay. All right, comments. The applicant has proposed an excessive amount of signage for this site. The amended application includes a new freestanding sign with a proposed LED display and ancillary signs affixed to the outside of the sign poles, 2 canopy signs, various under canopy signs, including self, island merchandising units, pump toppers, door decals on each gas dispenser, and sign panels mounted on light poles at the perimeter of the site. Freestanding sign. According to the materials submitted, the proposed freestanding sign is listed as 86.45 square feet in area on the main ID sign sheet. However, the main ID sign sheet also gives the dimensions of the Sunoco /LED price panel as 48 inches by 85.6 inches, which would equate to 28.5 square feet without the ancillary signage attached to the sign pole. The board should inquire about this discrepancy. Electronic message display sign. The town specifically prohibits electronic message display signs in the Arlington Town Center District, as well as many other districts. If granted, the town would set a precedent to allow this sign type in an area it is deemed as incompatible. Light pole signs. There is no indication of the content proposed for the perimeter light pole signs in the signage plan. We suggest additional signage providing business identification is duplicative and unnecessary. Recommendation. For the reasons stated above and to eliminate unnecessary and duplicative signs and sign clutter, the department recommends that the board deny the following requested variances. 1. The EMD portion of the freestanding sign. 2. The ancillary signage hanging off the post of the freestanding sign. 3. The sign brackets on the light poles. And 4. The pump toppers. Further, upon determination of the size of the proposed freestanding sign, only the minimum amount of variance necessary for the size of the freestanding sign be granted. Voting and reporting requirements. If the board acts contrary to our recommendation, the law requires that it do so by a majority plus one of the full membership of the board, and that it notify us of the reasons for its decision. Owen Rafter, Commissioner, County Department of Planning, signed Janet Tissier, Junior Planner. Okay.
So the county took no position then on the awning signs?
No.
Okay.
No. And I think right from the beginning we should note that you've already said there will be no signs on the light poles and there will be no additional signs hanging on the freestanding sign, correct?
No. Right, that was submitted.
Okay.
That was submitted to last meeting.
Yeah, okay. I think what happened is the county got both versions, and so I think there's a little, okay. And the other thing that we need to clarify is that in the county's response, they talked about the freestanding sign as being 86.45 square feet. That, I understand, is the area of the existing sign.
Yes.
And it's going to be replaced with a sign much smaller, 28.5 square feet.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So, okay. All right, I think we've got the basic framework here. Phyllis, any questions?
The canopy signs, are you talking about them staying or going? Because I'm
The
confused.
Sunoco signs staying.
The canopy signs are staying.
Yes.
And you need the extra 3 feet for them, that you
Yes.
couldn't make them
They-
within, so you wouldn't need a variance.
So for, it's funny because it's a cookie cutter. They have certain sizes that they make for them to be profitable as a company. So Sunoco contracts out Everbright or Pro Signs, and they say you have to make it for this price. So in order to change it, it would be a new mold and stuff like that. So it just gets into cost effectiveness. So what they do is they just make a certain size channel letter, and deviation from that is pretty much not Sunoco standard. So it's a 21-inch high letter, and they just make them, a bunch of them at one time, you know, and for it to be cost effective for them as a company. To do a different size, to shrink it down, it gets into, you know, a cost factor. So you'd be spending more money for a sign for 3 square feet less. You'd be spending more money. So yes, we are asking for a 3 square foot variance for those to save them.
And, yeah, and to add on top of that, if you go any smaller than that, Sunoco would not approve me to make it smaller.
Okay. No further questions.
Christine?
Could you tell me what the pump toppers are?
So if you have the
Yeah, I have
in front of
the,
you, so if you go to page
This way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no. You see the picture of the pump there?
yes.
So
Yeah,
see
so
underneath?
it's that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Okay.
underneath there is a pump topper. It's just a point of purchase display.
Oh, I see, okay.
So what would be written on that?
It says
Like seasonal promotions, they just, when they mail them out, they put them in there.
they actually come with nothing in them, and then they send them when they have like 5 cents off a gallon, they slide them in there.
Okay.
That's all, thank you.
All right, and then, I mean, by the pumps, I see there's a sign, you know, no smoking and a kind of the safety things. And the only other thing that and there's a trash bin. And then there's something called an IMU, an island.
Merchandiser unit?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that 2-legged,
Yeah.
that's there. And it just says committed to customer service on it.
You know, so the first.
Oh. Okay.
So,
Okay. Is there going to be, is there something on top of the pump that's got prices on it?
yes,
I think now there is.
Yes.
It shows, and is that going to remain?
yes, that's, I think there's state law to have that there.
Law.
Oh.
That's a law, you have to have it.
Okay. All right. Paul, any questions?
No.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen?
I guess the question really is for you, Jim. After reading the county letter, and the applicants have made all these different changes and adjustments and decreased the signage. What's left that the county would be objecting to after they have made these changes?
Well, they have the pump toppers. Okay. They're saying there's, you know, no advertising on the top of the pump. Okay, that's one thing. The second is just the existence of the electronic sign. Okay. And then the third, well, actually, those are the only two that the county has a problem with. The third thing that is before just us is the sign that says Sunoco on 2 edges of the canopy, which is about 3 square feet larger than what the code allows. Mm-hmm. So really, that's what it boils down to.
Okay.
The other things they have taken care of, and so are not an issue.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, that they've made some corrections.
Okay.
So there are going to be only 2 canopy signs that both say Sunoco,
Yes.
and they are less than 25% of the face that they're going on?
Oh, yeah.
Need the variance. Okay.
Way less.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, any other questions from the board? All right, anyone from the audience wish to address the Gasland application, 740 Main Street. Okay, not seeing anyone. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for providing the new visuals, is big help. And also for filling out the environmental assessment form. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
You can stay, we're probably going to deliberate and.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that completes all of the public hearings, so I guess everyone is here, so we'll just take them in the order of the agenda. So the first item before us, Gasland Petroleum, 740 Main Street. And what we're voting on is a variance to allow the installation of a freestanding electronic message display where such signs are prohibited in the Arlington Town Center District. 2, a variance to allow a freestanding sign of 28.52 square feet where 12 square feet is allowed. 3, a variance to allow each of the 2 canopy wall signs to be 18.09 square feet where 15 square feet is allowed. And the original application for additional signage on the light poles has been withdrawn. Okay, this is an unlisted action, and so I move that the ZBA declare itself lead agency for the purposes of the environmental review of the application at 740 Main Street. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I further move that the ZBA finds, based on the information submitted in the EAF short form, that the actions proposed by Gasland Petroleum at 740 Main Street will have no significant impact on the environment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Recusals? Okay, so let's just, I think, take the various variances in order. The first one would be to allow an electronic message display. Comments? Discussion?
It's a gas station, kind of standard. It's been there, the gas station's been there for a long time. I don't think the impact is going to be that great on the community, particularly in light of that intersection.
Yeah, okay. Probably some of the others have done the same, but during our field trip, Christine and I drove down Main Street, and there are exactly 2 gas stations on Main Street. This one and the Getty station that's kind of kitty corner from Davies Hardware. There were others, but they've taken the pumps out and they've been converted into auto repair shops. So we're only talking about 2 gas stations, and the Getty station already has an electronic price sign.
Yeah.
So that, the fear that this sets some sort of precedent, I think, is not founded. I think in terms of the rest of the Arlington Town District, I think it's fairly clear we're dealing with a gasoline station here. There are no others in the Arlington Town Center. And I would, I think, our discussion, I think, has made it fairly clear that we're talking about a gas station, and what our decision is it doesn't reflect on other kinds of businesses or establishments. So I think that one's fairly clear. Okay. The freestanding sign, to be 28.5 square feet where 12 square feet is allowed. Any discussion on this one? I have two comments on it. One is that they've reduced the size of the freestanding sign considerably, cut the heights down so that it actually meets the code. The 12 square feet is something that we've met before with others, actually stores up and down Main Street. The Getty Station is one. I remember Dark Side Records, the Laundromat, and in all of those cases, it's been the opinion of this board that 12 square feet is unreasonably small, particularly for Main Street. 12 square feet, when you're talking about a little shop on College View, is one thing. At that corner of Main Street, it's 12 square feet, I'm sorry, would just look silly. So any problem there? Okay. Let's see. The canopy signs, each are being proposed to be 18.09 square feet, where 15 square feet is allowed. What's your feeling on that?
It's kind of de minimis.
Hmm?
It's kind of minimal.
Yeah, I don't think it makes much difference. It's a pretty big canopy. The sign does fit on there. And I think further, I think this is one of those cases where you balance the benefit to the applicant to the detriment to the neighborhood and the community. Clearly, to make the sign conform to code would require custom fabricating an entirely new sign, which is quite expensive. The detriment to the neighborhood, I think, in this case is minimal. So I don't have a problem there. Okay, so those are the three that we have. Okay, and again, because of the county, should we vote on these separately, or can we do them as a package?
It doesn't sound like there'll be a disagreement on the, so I've gotten your findings for the different ones, so we will need to say certain things about each of them for findings purposes, but as far as voting goes, if you wanted to do it together, that's fine.
Okay. Should I do an explicit finding statement?
I've gotten some of the board's comments. I think most of that is, for my purposes, that's sufficient. What we've talked about is the detriment to the benefit versus detriment analysis, the character of the neighborhood with the other stores and so on. So I think that's sufficient as long as the board is willing to adopt what it's discussed as its findings for this. I'm fine writing them up that way.
Okay. So is there a motion to adopt the findings as stated?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, fine, so we've got that. Okay, so in light of the county's action, this will need to have a minimum of 5 votes. So let's just see. Phyllis, do you want to read the statement of resolution? Do you have that?
I have that.
Yeah, great.
I move the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 1. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and the results of site visits by the board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the finding as set forth by the chair. Where we weren't going to amend anything, right? We've already discussed that, so.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve the variances in item number 1 has been made and seconded. There's no further.
Just so I'm clear about, my item 1, is not what was reduced, is it? I think there are some changes, right?
Right, so what the board would be adopting are the 3 variances to allow 2 canopy signs at, hold on.
18 square feet. rather than-
0.09 square feet where 15 is permitted, to allow the electronic message display sign, and to allow a freestanding sign of 28.52 square feet where 12 feet is permitted. That's the universe of what the board is approving.
Right, okay.
Okay. All right.
Second.
Okay,
Have a second.
motion to approve has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. No recusals. So item number 1 is approved 6-0. So, thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Item number 2, Eileen and Eugene Fontanella, 22 Saddle Rock Drive. Okay. This is a variant to allow a pool deck to be constructed 6 feet from the side lot line where 10 feet is required. This is a type 2 action. There's been no comment from the county. Okay, discussion? I think this is pretty straightforward. Okay, so I move that the board adopt its findings as follows. 1, the board finds that there will be no undesirable change produced in the character of the neighborhood. The board notes that many of the residences in this neighborhood have pools and small decks. 2, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method. The board finds that the location of the deck, although it is close to the side lot line, is the only location that would serve the needs of the applicant, namely to have a sunny area to sit before and after swimming, I suppose. 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. The board finds that the variance required is relatively small compared to the size of the lot and the location of neighboring houses. 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions. The board finds that the physical and environmental impacts will be minimal. And finally, whether or not the difficulty was self-created. Difficulty is self-created in the sense that the applicant wants to build a new deck. This is mitigated by the fact that given the configuration of the lot, and the pool, and the house, there are limited areas where a deck would make sense. Okay, and I move those as the findings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recusals? Okay. Okay, on the motion itself, Christine, do you want to do that?
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 2. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair. So move.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, approved, 6-0. Okay. Item number 3, William Forschler, 66 Crestwood Boulevard. It's a variance to allow the construction of a deck on the front of the house with a front yard setback of 24 feet where 30 feet is required, and B, a side yard variance of 10 feet where 20 feet is required. It's a type 2 action, so we don't have to make any environmental determinations. There's no comment from the county. Okay, any comments on this?
Consistent with the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay. I think my only concern, I wish in this application and in other applications of a similar sort that we could get a drawing of what the proposed deck, in this case, actually, it's more a porch than a deck.
It is, yeah.
But given the very small front porch that's there now, I can understand why a larger porch would be desired. Okay, so for the findings, I move as follows. The board finds that there would be no undesirable change produced in the character of the neighborhood. We note that during our field trips, we observed that several of the houses up and down Crestwood Boulevard have added decks, porches of various kinds to the front of the house. The proposed deck at 66 Crestwood will be consistent with many of the other houses. The board further finds that this benefit, namely having a more functional front porch, cannot be sought by any other method. The only way is to add in the front, and the fact that the lot is very narrow means that there's going to be invariably some kind of encroachment on the side yard setback. The variance is substantial in a kind of mathematical sense. It is not substantial in the sense that it is a major departure from the style and form of houses in the neighborhood. The board further finds that there will be no adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions. The porch will be designed to fit in with the existing house. And finally, whether the difficulty was self-created, it's self-created in the sense that they wish to add to the front of the house. It's not self-created in the sense that this is the only place that a larger, more functional porch could be located. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
22.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Do you want to do the motion itself?
I move to approve the area variance set forth in item 3. This decision is based upon a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, only offered by the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as just set forth by the chair.
Second.
Okay. Motion to approve the variance is at 66 Crestwood Boulevard. It's been made and seconded. There's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Approved 6-0. Okay. All right. That brings us to the end of the agenda. There's no further business before us, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned.